Episode 1. Will you please continue with the wedding ceremony first? Other matters can wait for now. Rachel Gray, you know very well that our marriage is just a trade. Being Mrs. Smith is all you want from me. So, stay out of my business. Her lips lifted into a mocking snicker. She had never thought that the 3 years she'd spent with him was just a trade in his eyes. They have been together for the past 3 years, spending most of their time together. She could forego everything for him, falling out with her family and leaving them. All he had in return was he couldn't control his feeling for his old flame, Olivia Cruz. Here is $200,000. It should be enough for you to lead a stable life in the countryside, he said. Apparently, the past 3 years she spent with him were worth only $200,000. He wouldn't have known that the $200,000 were nothing to her. Actually, he didn't even know who she really is. Lewis Smith, your family's wealth meant nothing to me, nor do I care about being Mrs. Smith. And I will not accept any form of apology and compensation from you. Remember this. There'll never be reconciliation between us. Her face seemed laced with ice, and nothing was in her eyes except indifference and determination. As the wedding march played in the background, Rachel walked down the aisle in her white bridal gown toward Lewis Smith, who was bearing a bouquet in his hand at the other end of the hall. Lewis was wearing a matching white tuxedo. When the golden light shone on him from behind, it created a gentle halo-like effect that enveloped him, making him appear bright and youthful. They had known each other for the past 3 years and had weathered many trials and tribulations together. Today was the day her dream came true. She was finally getting married to him. Her only regret was that her family was against her marrying Lewis. So, she'd never gotten the blessing from her family to marry him. Tears of joy shone in her eyes when he walked towards her and handed her the bouquet in his hand. The priest on the platform gazed upon the bride and groom with gentleness. Mr. Lewis Smith, do you take Ms. Rachel Gray for your lawful wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? Rachel controlled the waves of emotion she was going through as she gazed hopefully at Lewis, wanting to hear the word of affirmation from him. Lewis did not seem overjoyed by this occasion, and there wasn't any excitement on his face. He stood there hesitantly, not saying the word Rachel wished to hear. At this very moment, Jane Smith bolted in through the door from the outside, interrupting the procession happening in the church.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.